Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 weekly reset video. My name is Story, and I'm very excited because it's one more week until Beyond Light. Are you excited as well? Good. Anyway, while we're being excited, let's have a look at what we've got to do in Destiny 2 this week then, shall we? Regard Le Tower map. If you're new to the game, welcome. Come on in, pour yourself a piping hot brew, and sit down on one of our very many comfy pew. So this is the tower map, and all these lovely little icons represent vendors. Vendors are definitely some people to frequent yourselves with if you're new to the game, because they will administer bounties and quests and challenges and all kinds of stuff. For example, we have a look at our Gunsmith spare parts. The weekly challenges complete 8 of his bounties for some powerful gear at tier 1. Now, gear comes in a variety of tiers: tier 1, 2, 3, and pinnacle loot. Pinnacle being the highest and tier 1 being the lowest, even though it's not that low. But anyway, that's the nomenclature. Let's use our vocabulary. But there you go. There's loads of vendors about the place. We've got our Crucible vendor dealing with the PvP side of thing again. 8 bounties done. Powerful gear at tier 1. Then we've got same with Zavala over at the Vanguard. Get your strikes in and stuff and do those bounties. Powerful gear at tier 1. Then we've got the Gambit, a drifter, 8 of his bounties, powerful gear at tier 1. Not forgetting, while we're over here in this section, this is your last week to play the Means to an End quest with the Prismatic Recaster, because Season of Arrivals will be disappearing after this week, because we'll be on to new pastures. So there you go. And then we've got the Prophecy Dungeon over here, defeat the Kel Echo, and that will get you some pinnacle loot as well if you're after that kind of thing. Lovely. So yeah, there you go. Vendors, go and find yourselves lots of vendors. There's vendors everywhere. Regard the destinations here. This is the director screen with all the planets and stuff. So go find those vendors. Meanwhile, we're going to have a look at the Vanguard playlist. We've got 4 items on the menu. We've got daily heroic story missions here, where you can replay all the finest missions of all the previous season's campaigns. Then we've got the Vanguard strikes. This is where the meat and vegetables begins, because 3 strikes completed with the weekly attributes, and that is to complete strikes using the same subclass element as the currently active elemental burn. That will get you some pinnacle loot. So, ladies and gentlemen, pinnacle loot is there. Moving on, we've got the Nightfall, the Ordeal. This is the big, bad, grindy strike. Lots of fun. This week it is strange terrain. So if you're after that kind of strange terrainness, then this is the strike for you. There's 2 weeklies. We've got the first one, and that is to run the Nightfall a bunch of times. 3 usually does the trick, and that'll get you some powerful gear at tier 1. Then if you want your pinnacle loot, you're going to have to complete the Ordeal with a team score above 100,000 points. So there you go. Nightfall is, the Ordeal is strange terrain this week. Then we've got the Nightfall vanilla playlists here. 3 strikes to choose from. Strange terrain is there also. That's odd. 2 lots of strange terrain. We've got Garden World and the Corrupted. Now, the Garden World has some specific loot. We've got the Universal Wave Function ship. I should really grind this out for myself. I don't have this exotic ship. It's very nice as well. Strange terrain will get you the Braytech Osprey rocket launcher, and the Corrupted has the Horror's Least pulse rifle. So there you go. That's specific loot that you can grind over and over again. The more you complete the strike, the more it increases your chances of getting a drop. So there you go. That's the Vanguard playlist. Moving on, we've got the Gambit playlist here. We've got Reckoning. We've got a couple of different tiers in Reckoning, 1, 2, and 3. Slightly different flavors right there. And you can grind this out to get your Reckoner title for all the various bits of Season of the Drifter loot. And the weekly modifier is Void Singe. Nice. So then, we've got normal Gambit and Gambit Prime. You can choose either or, but 3 matches completed in either of those playlists will get you some pinnacle loot as well. Lovely jubbly, and we've even got private matches if you want to challenge somebody to defeating a primeval first. So there you go. Then there's Crucible. A couple of different types of playlists. We've got Rotator playlist and Core playlist. In the Rotator matches this week, we have Mayhem and Countdown. Mayhem is a 6v6 with crazy super regen abilities and stuff, so it is Mayhem indeed. And then Countdown is a 4v4 competitive style game mode where you have to arm the bomb, more or less, detonating a charge. Then we've got our Core playlist, which consists of Rumble, Control, Elimination, Survival, Freelance Survival, and Classic 6-stack, as I like to call it. And 4 matches completed in any of those core playlists will get you some pinnacle loot as well. And there is private matches for you to 1v1 your nan using Dire Promise only, as 150 hand cannons will be retired next week and transformed into 140s. Nail biter. But anyway, what else is there to do in Destiny 2 this week? Well, the Flashpoint happens to be on the Tangled Shore.
What's a Flashpoint?
Well, it's basically these public events spawn. Go do those, participate in those, complete those, and that will give you points towards your Flashpoint. And you can check on your progress by having a look at this vendor icon here for Spider. Activities completed. Once that bar fills up to 100%, you'll get your powerful gear at Tier 1 for completing said Flashpoint. It's worth noting as well that Lost Sectors will give you 5% for downing the boss and 5% for opening the chest as well. So there you go, Flashpoint this week on the Tangled Shore. What else is there to do in Destiny 2? Well, we're going to hop on over to Mars, because Escalation Protocol, if you're into that, it's dropping the shotgun this week if you're trying to put that in your collections. Just thought I'd let you know. Ascendant Challenge in the Dreaming City is over on the Chamber of Starlight, just for FYI. You might want to know that kind of information. On the moon, there is plenty of stuff to do. This is one of my favorite locations. And you can begin by doing nightmare hunts, for example. There's 3 to choose from, usually. There are 2 weekly challenges. Complete any nightmare hunt activities. All difficulty tiers grant progress. So 3 of those done. Powerful gear at Tier 1. And then there is a pinnacle gear offering for completing a nightmare hunt on Master difficulty. Speaking of pinnacle loot, we've got the Pitiferity Dungeon. Complete that and you'll get some pinnacle loot. Very nice indeed. And then there's the Garden of Salvation raid for your pinnacle loot as well. Alternative activities, they've got Sorrow's Harbour. If you fly on over to the Altars of Sorrow, it's a public event and it's quite well populated still. It's a good event for grinding out bits and pieces and materials and whatnot. And there are 3 rotating bosses. One will drop a kinetic slug shotgun, one will drop a sniper rifle, and another one will drop the rocket launcher. Then there are some vendors down here as well. We've got the Lectern of Enchantment Nightmare Slayer. This pertains to downing nightmares, which are found in the Altars of Sorrow. Every wave has nightmares. So, that's quite an easy one to do. I'm leaving mine there for next week to see if I can claim the reward. I'm just curious about it. It probably isn't going to give me much or anything at all, but I'm just curious. And then, of course, there's Eris Morn's Luna's Calling. Follow this quest line for some powerful gear at Tier 1 as well. Isn't that nice? Right then. Well, those are the basic activities to get stuck into this week. Then we're going to hop on over to the Gunsmith and explain the bounty system to our newcomers to the game, as there are always these newcomers and we welcome them with open arms. We've got weekly bounties, 2 of, daily bounties, 4 of, and additional bounties, which you can keep going back and buying. They just cost 3,000 Glimmer. Now, the weekly bounties for the Gunsmith will award XP, Glimmer, an upgrade module, and some planetary resources. The second bounty awards XP, Glimmer, and an upgrade module and no planetary resources. Don't ask me why, I do not know. But anyway, those are the weekly bounties, and that's what they award. They will reset every Tuesday at reset. And then there's the daily bounties that will award XP, mod components, and enhancement cores. Now, all of these materials, upgrade modules, mod components, enhancement cores, they all play a good role. They can help you upgrade your gear, they help you masterwork your gear, and mod components can be spent down here. Material exchange. You can spend your mod components here. There's always an armor mod for sale and a weapon mod, and these rotate on the daily reset. So if you're not interested in rocket launcher reserves or backup mag, just wait 24 hours for tomorrow's reset and these will change. There's also some materials here that you can swap for other materials, which are very important in upgrading gear and masterworking gear. So there you go. That is the stuff. There is the bounties. Now we're going to move on over to the Crucible Handler, because his bounties are slightly different. The Crucible Handler, Vanguard, and Gambit over at the Drifter have a lot in common in terms of the way their bounties work. We have our 2 weekly bounties that will award things that pertain to Crucible, like Crucible tokens and Valor rank. And then we've got XP, Bright Dusk, and Glimmer. Now, Bright Dusk can be spent in the Eververse store on cosmetics and stuff. So you got your weekly bounties that award that. The daily bounties award Crucible tokens, XP, and Valor points. And then we've got the additional bounties will award a bit of Bright Dust as well as XP. So you can keep grabbing these and farming for Bright Dust. And you can do the same with the Vanguard and same with the Drifter for Gambit. So you can hoard yourself a mighty amount of bright dust and spend that in the Eververse store. You can also spend real money, buy silver, that is your real hard-earned peanut to spend in the store, or you can use your bright dust. Now, this is the featured screen where we've got all our featured emotes for the week. We've got Sabrage Salute, Bad Dog, Weapon Ornament. And let's have a look at them. Sabrage Salute, we'll chop the top off of that. Be careful. Don't cut yourself. We're not going to drink from it because that's dangerous. We just throw it away because that's less dangerous. And then there is Eat Bad Dog. It's dog, eat dog, eat dog. Anyway, there it is. That is a weapon ornament for Leviathan Bow, Leviathan's Breath. We've got the Jotunier available once again. So if you want to ride on a toaster, there it is. Then we've got the big red button. Do we want to push this said big red button? Find out later. But anyway, we've got Tiger Effects, Transmat Effects as well, if you fancy a bit of that. And the Clock Cleaner is in the featured section. This is a daily offer. This will replenish every day, so you can change and have a look. It's quite handy because it often has things from previous seasons. So if you miss something, you might find it there. Then there is a Bright Dust featured section where you can buy a bunch of consumables. This is the Callisto Lancer ship. Very nice indeed. Takes the Midnight Smith shade. A look at that. Suits you. And then we've got the Kit Bash shell. Very handy ghost this is because it can often roll with Glimmer Scavenger as well. Crucible Glimmer Scavenger and Token Booster and give you an extra few tokens and whatnot. Then we've got the Daito Capsule Entrance. A funky noise there for your Transmat effect. And Biolume, which is green, black, and blue. So there you go. And then there is the seasonal section. This is the ornaments and finishers and cosmetics and stuff for the season of arrivals. Now it is going to be disappearing after this week, and be warned that items may become unavailable for purchase after the season ends. So some of this stuff may go away for a while, and so you might want to pick it up. If it doesn't go away, then it will end up here, but bearing in mind not everything ends up here in the archives. There is a limited selection in comparison to what is actually available. And then we've got the Bright Dust section. This is where you would come to spend all of your well-earned farmed Bright Dust. This week we've got another. So that is pour in a nice hot cup of something. Coffee that's yellow. I don't want to know what he's drinking. Anyway, Leggy Dance, moving on. Have a look at that, Leggy Dance. You can have that. Then there's the Perennial Velocity. Amalon Sparrow there. The Hissing Silent Shell. I like this. I hope we get transmogrification with Ghost because I would like to have this with something good on it. Anyway, there is the Jewel of Saturn. New whip right there. And then the Symbiosis ornament for Sturm, the exotic hand cannon. And then there's the depository projection. These go over the top of your ghosts. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? And of course, a whole bunch of shaders, transmat effects, Hive Arrival. Very nice. You know, I like it very much indeed. And then you can buy a bunch of consumables as well. And this last bit just shows off all the expansions. Look at there it is, Beyond Light. It's next week, ladies and gents. Saturate your underwear in excitement. But anyway, there we go. That is the Destiny 2 weekly reset from 3rd of November going up until the 10th of November. Have an absolutely fantastic week in Destiny 2. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, smoke me a kipper. We'll be back for breakfast.